Okay. So in the VSWR measurement, from the standing wave pattern, once if you move your line, once if you go from load to source, your meter will show the maximum voltage and somewhere minimum voltage. You note down the voltage and you know what is yes. Once if you know yes, then from yes you can calculate what is K. Okay, you know what is reflection coefficient. Okay, from this formula. Then what else you can measure? And you can also measure the wavelength. Okay, because say if you take the distance between two maxima, say if this is one maxima and this is another maxima, what is the distance between two maxima? That is simply the wavelength divided by 2. Okay, lambda by 2. Okay, so that is lambda g, because that is on the line. So guided wavelength lambda g divided by 2 divided by d2 minus d1. See, your operating frequency may be something, but this is your lambda g. So you know what is lambda g. Lambda g divided by 2, that is d2 minus d1. Okay, the distance you have to physically measure. Okay, then once if we know the wavelength, okay, and once if you know this, you are having already you are having this relation 1 by lambda is equal to 1 by lambda c square and 1 by lambda g whole square. Then you can finally measure the wavelength. Okay, so what you can do with the VSWR measurement is used to measure S, K, lambda and F, because once if you know the wavelength, then also you can measure the frequency. So
Sir?
then next, yes sir.
1 by lambda square then, sir.
Yes sir, lambda square. Okay, next, then again based on the VSWR value, that is like a low VSWR and high VSWR. If S value is less than 10, then that is called low VSWR measurement. If S value is greater than 10, then that is high VSWR measurement. Okay, sometimes we may use separate measurement technique for low and high, okay, but I'm not going in detail. Okay, if S is less than 10, then that is low VSWR measurement. If S is greater than 10, then that is high VSWR measurement. Okay, so then next I will go to the propagation of waves. Okay, propagation of waves. Okay, propagation of waves, propagation of EM waves. What are all the possible propagation? In general, there are many type of propagation is there. Say for example, ground wave propagation. I'll write one by one. Ground wave propagation, ground wave propagation, and space wave propagation, space wave, ionospheric wave propagation, ionospheric or sky wave propagation, ionospheric or sky wave propagation. Where other propagation irka sir? Troposcatter propagation, troposcatter propagation. Where
Duct
other ka?
propagation.
Yes.
Duct propagation.
Duct propagation. Yes. Okay, so as well narrow propagation irka, but we will see the first three in detail. What is ground wave, space wave, and ionospheric or sky wave propagation. Okay. So, and again, you know that wave propagation actually depends on both frequency as well as the physical properties of the medium. Okay, properties of the environment. Okay, because sometimes because our ground act in a different manner. Okay, for high frequency it is acting as a conductor. For low frequency it is acting as a what dielectric. What is yes. Yesterday we have seen now based on the frequency, say sigma divided by omega epsilon. For high frequency, it is acting like a dielectric. For low frequency, it is acting like a conductor. That means ground wave supports the low frequency, but not the high frequency. So that means what? The wave propagation itself depends on both frequency of operation as well as the nature of the environment. Nature of the environment. So wave propagation depends on frequency of operation and environment properties. environment properties. Okay, then what is ground wave propagation? Ground wave propagation. If your frequency is less than 2 megahertz, in the some book they would have mentioned less than 3 megahertz, no problem. Okay, if the ground wave is less than 2 megahertz, then that is the frequency is less than 2 megahertz. That means what? The ground will support that wave. That is ground wave propagation. The next one is sky wave or ionospheric. Sky wave or ionospheric wave propagation. That means what? From 2 megahertz to 30 megahertz, you are using sky wave or ionospheric wave propagation. Next one is space wave propagation. Okay, space wave propagation. The another name for space wave propagation is line of sight propagation. Another name for space wave propagation is line of sight propagation. Okay, line of sight propagation. And again here the frequency of operation is more than 30 megahertz. What is the example for space wave propagation? Mobile network, okay, satellite, because all the frequency of mobile network is more than 30 megahertz. So example of this one is mobile network and satellite and all. Okay, right here. Example is here. The example is mobile network, comma satellite. Even FM, your FM. Okay, that and all. Again, TV reception, olden day TV reception. Everything comes under the space wave communication. Space wave communication. Then what is the ground wave communication? The example for ground wave communication is AM. Okay, AM radios. Okay, then what is the sky wave? Then where the sky wave or ionospheric is used? Okay, in general, in some other communication, point-to-point communication, in general, sky wave and ionospheric wave propagation is used for point-to-point communication. Okay, this is mainly used for point-to-point. Okay, this will be clear once if you discuss, go in detail. Okay, this is like a point-to-point communication. Okay, that means what? The sky wave and ionospheric propagation and all, you cannot use it for broadcasting purpose. You cannot use it for broadcasting purpose. Okay, and again here the communication is with the help of the sky or ionosphere layer. Sky or the ionospheric layer. Okay, so the first one is ground wave propagation. Ground wave propagation. Ground wave propagation. Example for ground wave propagation is AM radio. AM radio. How the ground wave is propagating? Say if you are having earth surface like this, okay. Now, here you are having some tropospheric layer, something like that. That's okay. Then what is the nature of the earth at low frequency? Because for ground wave you are using low frequency. Okay, what is your frequency of operation? F is less than 2 megahertz. That means your frequency is low. Okay, whenever if you are using this formula, if your frequency is low, the overall quantity is high, sigma divided by omega epsilon. That means what? Act as a conductor. That means what? The earth act as a conductor. As per this formula, at low frequency, earth act as a conductor. At low frequency, earth act as a conductor. Earth act as a conductor. Okay, earth act as a conductor. Now what happens? Okay, you are having some transmitter, say some transmitter. Now the wave is going and then it is reflected by this layer. And again, you should know what is the nature of this layer also, because if the wave simply escapes, then we cannot do anything. You should know the nature of this layer also. Then if it comes here, and again, earth is like a conductor, then it goes here, it comes here like this, it goes on the surface of the earth very easily. Okay, it goes around the surface of the earth. This is the concept of ground wave propagation. And again, this is also called as surface wave because it is going on the surface of the earth. Okay, it is going on the surface of the earth. Then what will happen if I keep on increasing the frequency at some point of time? This once if the frequency value is high, this overall value becomes low. That means my earth is acting like a dielectric. So what will happen if some signal goes, the dielectric will absorb the signal, that will not completely reflect the signal, then the wave will diminish very quickly. The wave will diminish very quickly. So that's why at high frequency, we can, the ground wave propagation is not possible. At high frequency, ground wave propagation is not possible. So what is happening here? The wave propagates along the surface of the earth. Okay. Wave propagate along the surface of the earth. Then what is the polarization? Anybody? What kind of polarization for this, vertical or horizontal?
Vertical polarization.
Vertical polarization, yes, because if it is horizontal, then that cannot propagate. Okay, so it is always vertically polarized. Vertically polarized. Then again, this is called as surface waves. Okay, this is also called as surface wave propagation, or also called as medium wave propagation, medium wave propagation, because you know the frequency range is under the medium frequency range. You know the medium frequency MF. What is the MF range? Okay, 300 Hz to 300 kilohertz to, what is the medium frequency range? 300 kilohertz to 3 megahertz. Okay, because this frequency comes under medium frequency, this is also called as medium wave. Okay, this is the ground wave propagation. Then next one is sky wave or ionospheric propagation. Sky wave, ionospheric propagation. Somebody tell me, what is the difference between the sky and space? Which is at the larger distance? Generally, people get confused between the sky wave and space wave propagation. Yes, somebody tell me, what is the difference between the sky or space? Any idea, Arka?
Sky larger distance.
Sky வந்து larger, space வந்து கிட்டங்களா?
இல்ல சார், F layer, E layer, F1, F2 layer.
Okay, அது okay. Skyக்கும் spaceக்கும் என்ன difference? Generally, in our terminology, sky is something that is near to us. Space is something that is very far away from us in general. Okay, so ionospheric layer, the layer வந்து பாத்தீங்கன்னா around 400 kilometerல இருக்கும், around 400 kilometer. Now I do not know at exactly what point it starts, but please try to find out what is the range of the ionospheric layer. Okay, where it is starting, where it is ending. Okay, please try to fill up your notes with that. What is the range of the ionospheric layer? From the earth surface, what is the height of the ionospheric layer? What is the lower layer height? What is the upper layer height? Please try to find out. Okay, and again, it consists of many layers, D, E, F1, F2, like that. Okay, D, E, F1, F2. Okay, then now what happens? Suppose if you are on the surface of the earth, and the ionosphere consists of many layers. Ionosphere consists of many layers. Okay, D, E, F1, F. Okay, D, E, F1, F. And again, please try to find out the height, actual height. Okay, this is the ionospheric layer. Now, suppose if you are using some transmitter, okay, and again, what is the frequency of the ionospheric propagation? The frequency is less than 30 megahertz, and it is greater than 3 megahertz, but it is less than 30 megahertz. Okay, so, and if you are pointing out, okay, your signal towards the ionospheric layer, say the signal goes like this. Okay, say the signal goes like this, and it comes like this to the receiver. Okay, and again one more antenna is there. Okay, here one more antenna is there. This is like a transmitting antenna. This is like a receiving antenna. It's like a transmitting and receiving antenna. and this height, actually your wave will get bended here in this manner. In reality it will have smooth bending, but for calculation purpose point of view we are just extending. For calculation purpose we are just extending, okay, by little bit. Actually this is going to the another layer, but in reality that will not go to the another layer. The distance between these two is very, very less, okay. That will not go to the another layer and all, okay. But in the diagram it looks like this, looks like that, okay. So this is like a actual height and this is like a virtual height, okay. So this height is called actual height, okay, actual height, and this height is called as virtual height. So in general the virtual height is greater than the actual height, virtual height, okay, just for mathematics purpose, okay. This is Earth surface. And again please remember one thing, there are many layers, okay. Again we do not know from which layer it is getting reflected. It may be any layer, okay, D, E, F1 or F2. And exactly if you want to know from which layer it is getting reflected, then you should know at what frequency you are operating. What is your frequency of operation? Then what is your launching angle? Okay, what I'm telling, if you want to precisely know from which layer it is getting reflected, you should know two quantities. One is what is the frequency of operation, what is the angle of incidence, okay. The layer, okay, depends from which layer it is getting reflected, okay. The layer at which, okay, the layer from which, the layer from which signal reflects, from which the signal reflects, depends on two parameters, depends on frequency and theta, okay, frequency and theta. Theta you can measure, okay, like this you can measure what is theta, launching angle, okay, like this, okay. This is the theta measurement, okay. This is like a theta measurement, okay. If it is exactly vertical, then the theta is 0, okay, theta. And again you can vary your theta, okay. This is theta. Now what is the basic operation behind the ionospheric communication, okay. Anyway we know all the formulas, some formulas are there, we know, but I will spend some time to explain how exactly the signal is getting reflected, okay. Why not the signal is getting escaped, okay. Yeah, signal on the escape vella povama, it is getting reflected. Then how it is getting reflected? Because yesterday da nama paathom what is the concept of reflection and refraction. So again inge nama Snell's law da use panna porom. But before that, ஏன் வந்து இந்த சிக்னல் எஸ்கேப் ஆயிட்டு போகாம ரிஃப்ளெக்ட் ஆகுது? ஃபர்ஸ்ட் அதுக்கு நம்மளுக்கு ஆன்சர் தெரியணும். So why the ionospheric layer is reflecting if the signal frequency is less than 30 megahertz? Okay, my question is why ionospheric layer reflects if frequency is less than 30 megahertz? Then what will happen? What will happen if frequency is more than 30 megahertz? Now I will explain what will happen if frequency is more than 30 megahertz. Okay, suppose if you take frequency more than 30 megahertz, okay, once if you keep on increasing the frequency, what will happen to wavelengths, sir? Okay, if you keep on increasing the frequency, now you can choose frequency that is greater than 30 megahertz, then what will happen to wavelength? The wavelength will decrease. Okay, already in the ionospheric layer there will be ions, okay, in the ionospheric layer there will be ions, okay. Then there will be the distance called distance between the inter ions, okay, interatomic ions, okay, distance between the adjacent ions, okay. If your wavelength is much smaller than the distance between the ions, then that will easily escape to the space, that will not get reflected, okay. So what I am telling, if you increase your frequency in such a way your wavelength decreases. If your wavelength is less than or equal to d, d means what? Distance between the ions, because ionospheric layer consists of ions, okay, distance between ions. Then what will happen? Then if it is less, then it can easily go inside and it can escape. Then it escapes to the space. It escapes that and escape by the space, then there will not be any reflection. அதனால தான் என்ன சொல்றாங்க, whenever you use frequency less than 30 megahertz, then only it will reflect, because you will have some wavelength. That wavelength is just greater than d, then your signal may be reflected, or otherwise you will not get any reflection. That's the main reason, because you may have doubt why ionospheric layer is reflecting, but that too under some frequency, again some frequency range only it is reflecting. Why? You will have that doubt in your mind. Okay, this is the answer for that. Is Purida sir what I am telling? Somebody? Yeah, I know. Some signal frequency reflect பண்ணது, some other frequency reflect பண்ணது இல்ல அப்படின்றதுக்கு நான் explain பண்றேன். Okay, then suppose if you use range of frequency less than 30 megahertz, then how exactly it is getting reflected? Okay, so other than நம்ம வந்து பார்க்க போறோம். So now I take layers, many layers. Okay, because ionosphere consists of many layers. Okay, say consists of ions. Okay, extra ions. Then the refractive index is just greater than n naught. You know, n naught means what? Refractive index of air. N naught means what? A refractive index of air. So as you move, you are getting first layer. For first layer, it is having some ionospheric, some number of ions. Then it is having refractive index n1. Then what happens as you go up, the number of ions increases. The number of ions increases. Now I will denote the number of ions like this. Say n means what? Number of ions per cubic centimeter. N means what? Number of ions per cubic centimeter. So n means number of ions per cubic centimeter. Per cubic centimeter. So when you go up, the number of ions increases. Yesterday only you have seen, when the number of ions increases, the density of the material increases, medium increases. Once the density increases, the refractive index increases. So the refractive index here is n2. Okay, the refractive index here is n2. This is n3. This is n4. So I am just denoting n1, n2, n3, n4 like that. But what actually happens? It is like a continuous. When you are going up, continuously refractive index increases. Continuously refractive index increases. But for discussion point of view, I have taken some layer. Okay, discussion point of view. Okay, so now I am here with some transmitter. Okay, with some transmitter. My signal goes here from here to, it goes to this medium. Okay, it goes to this medium. Somebody tell me what will happen? Will there be any refraction after this layer? Because this is consist of refractive index in between n1 and n2. Don't think that this and all air like that. Okay, it is like a continuous. I'm just denoting the discrete value. So what will happen in this process? See, definitely you'll get some refraction. Okay, you'll get some refraction. So it goes like this. Okay, some small refraction will be there, and again some refraction will be there. It goes like this. Okay, so like this it keeps on going. See, when you go up and up, then there will be small refraction, and again refraction will be there. Refraction will be there. So okay, so it's not simply going in the straight path. Okay, it's not simply going in the straight path. So each and every place there will be some refraction, because that only we have discussed on yesterday. When you go from one medium to another medium, say rarer medium to denser medium, then definitely there will be refraction, and that too refraction will be in which direction? Towards left or towards right? Okay, please refer yesterday notes. So the refraction will be towards right. Okay, so and then finally it may get reflect. Okay, finally again at some layer it may get reflect. Okay, so again here also refraction will be there. Okay, refraction, because now here you are coming from denser medium to rarer medium. Okay, based on that again refraction will be either left or right, but it has to be on the left. So finally you will get your signal here. Okay, so this is the way how your signal is exactly getting reflected. இது புரியுதா சார்? இதுல ஏதாவது டவுட் இருக்கா? I am discussing as per the Snell's law. நேத்து பார்த்தோம்ல sin theta 1 and 2 sin theta 2. நேத்து explain பண்ணல, based on the concept only the wave is getting reflected smoothly. Finally, we do not know from which layer it is getting reflected. That purely depends on what is your frequency of operation. Okay, that purely depends on what is your frequency of operation, then what is your launching angle? What is your launching angle? Okay. Idu purida? Can I go further? Somebody please respond.
Okay, sir.
Okay. So, and again, please remember the refractive index is somewhere related with the ionic density. Okay, the refractive index is somewhere related with the ionic density. Okay. So next, what you have to note down here, once if the frequency is more than 30 megahertz, what is happening? Suppose if frequency is more than 30 megahertz, okay, wavelength becomes so small so that it can penetrate the ionospheric layer, so that it can penetrate ionospheric layer, because the wavelength becomes less than the interatomic distance. Okay, then it can penetrate the ionospheric layer. Next, we will see what is critical frequency. Okay, don't compare this critical frequency definition with the fiber optics critical frequency. This is completely different. Okay, now I'll write the definition. It is the highest frequency, and again please note down the critical frequency is different for different layer. Okay, this is with respect to layer. Okay, critical frequency is different for different layer. So what is critical frequency? It is the highest frequency reflected by layer, with normal incidence, okay. Say for example, now my D layer is here, E layer is here, F layer is here. Okay, this is my D layer and this is my E layer and this is my F layer. Now I am having some frequency. Okay, now what I am doing, I am launching the frequency exactly in the normal manner. Okay, I am not making any angle. Okay, so exactly perpendicularly I am launching my signal. Okay, so once if I launch my signal, say what is my starting frequency? I can start at 3 megahertz. Okay, because the range is 3 megahertz to 30 megahertz. Start at 3 megahertz. Okay, once if you launch here, whether your signal is getting reflected or not. Okay, because the ionospheric layer has to reflect. It may or it may not reflect. Say first I am using 3 megahertz, 4 megahertz and 5 megahertz. Suppose 3 megahertz getting reflected, 4 megahertz is also getting reflected, and 5 megahertz getting reflected. Suppose if I use more than 5 megahertz, this layer may not reflect. What I am telling, say in this case, I am going to use, for example only I am telling, but each and every layer is having its own critical frequency. Okay, just for analysis purpose I am telling. Okay, so suppose I take 3 megahertz, 4 megahertz and 5 megahertz. Okay, so 3 megahertz is getting reflected, 4 megahertz is also getting reflected, 5 megahertz also getting reflected. But once if I go more than 5 megahertz, it is getting escaped. It is getting escaped from the D layer, because that is true. Because once if you are launching vertically, again it all depends on, because already some interatomic distance is there. Okay, then whether it is getting reflected or it is, because see when you have an interatomic distance like this, if you see this like this distance is very high, but if you see it, this is in this angle, it may be something different. That's why for definition of critical frequency, we have to always launch our signal vertically for the definition. Okay, but in practically we can launch it with any angle that we'll discuss later. Okay, that will define the maximum usable frequency. Now we are defining the critical frequency of the layer. So critical frequency nale, you have to launch the signal vertically. Once vertical launch பண்ணும்போது, if I use more than 5 megahertz, then that will not reflect. Then what is the meaning? 5 megahertz is the critical frequency of the D layer. Okay, if I use any frequency that is less than 5 megahertz, definitely that layer will reflect. Definitely that layer will reflect. That is the idea. Then once if I make more than 5 megahertz, say if I am using 6 megahertz, that may be reflected by E. Okay, E. If I use 7 megahertz, say for example, if it is reflecting, Then if I go further, maybe your E layer also may not reflect. Maybe your E layer also may not reflect. Then what is the critical frequency of this E layer? Simply 7 megahertz. Again, and I go further. If I use more than 7 megahertz, say 8 megahertz, okay, that is getting reflected by F. And if I go 9 megahertz, okay, then it is getting reflected by F. Then if I go further, it may not reflect. That means what? This is the critical frequency of the F layer. Okay, this is the definition for critical frequency. It is the highest frequency reflected by the layer with a normal incident. With a normal incidence. Idhil edha doubt iruka sir? Definition of critical frequency. Because it is different for different layer. Critical frequency is always defined for the layer. Okay, with respect to layer. That means what? It is different for different layer. Okay. Now we'll do some analysis. So one thing is very clear. When I go to higher and higher layer, okay, when I go to further layer D to E, E to F, definitely the critical frequency increases. Definitely what increases? The critical frequency increases. Why it increases? We'll see. Because when I go to from D to E, E to F, what is increasing? My height is increasing. When my height is increasing, what is increasing? My refractive index is increasing. Why refractive index is increasing? Because my ionic density is increasing. Okay, so my ionic density, I will write that later. We'll write this. Okay, once if I go to higher heights, what is increasing? My capital N is increasing. If my capital N increases, my small n will increase. My small n will increase. Once if small n increases, number of ions are more, then definitely the interatomic distance between the ions will decrease. Interatomic distance between the ions will decrease. Once if the interatomic distance between the ions is decreasing, then it will allow lesser wavelength only, because okay, because it will reflect. Okay, once if the interatomic distance between the ions decreases, then it will reflect lesser wavelength. Okay, it will reflect lesser wavelength. Once the wavelength is less, then frequency is high. That is the idea. That's why you are getting higher cutoff critical frequency when you go to the higher heights. When you go to the higher heights, okay, that is the definition of critical frequency. So this one I can say the critical frequency of the layer 1 FC1. This is for layer 2 FC2, and this is for layer 3 FC3. Okay. Next, we'll see maximum usable frequency. Okay, maximum usable frequency. Okay, in short, this is MUF. Okay, maximum usable frequency. Okay, now what I'm going to do, now I'm going to use some layer. Say for example, D layer. Okay, D layer. Now, in the previous slide, we have decided some cutoff frequency for D layer. Say, for example, 5. See, this is for analysis purpose only I am taking. In reality, it may be different. Okay. In reality, there is some value is there. Please remember that value. This is I am purely taking it for analysis purpose. Okay. For D layer, I have taken the cutoff frequency 5 megahertz. For D layer, I have taken the cutoff frequency for 5 megahertz. Then, definitely D layer will be having some interatomic distance. That's okay. Now, if I, instead of normal incidence, now I am launching my signal like this. I am launching my signal like this. But one thing is very clear. If I launch in this manner with the same 5 megahertz, okay, because already it will allow 5 megahertz signal. Already it will allow 5 megahertz signal. Now I am making some angle. Okay, instead of normal incidence, I am making some angle of incidence. Okay, this is the angle of incidence. Okay, theta. Okay, when I make this angle of incidence, previously maximum this is supporting 5 megahertz when it is vertical, but now it is making some angle. So this layer will allow even if F is greater than FC. What I am telling? நீங்க வந்து vertical send பண்ணும்போது FC வரைக்கும் allow பண்ணோம், but theta, then it may allow the frequency that is greater than FC also. That is greater than FC also. Okay, so okay, previously this is FC. Okay, previously this is FC. Now it is allowing the frequency F, some frequency. Then what is the relation between F and FC? What is the relation between the F and FC? Now say f is the maximum usable frequency. The maximum usable frequency f is equal to fc secant theta. Fc secant theta. You can apply that trigonometric. Okay. What happens? Say if you apply cos theta here. Okay, cos theta here, you will get fc divided by f. Okay. Then what is f? Okay, fc 1 by cos theta is secant theta. Okay, and you know theta can be anything. You put some theta value. Okay, definitely if theta increases, secant theta is more than 1, because this is like 1 by cos theta. Cos theta value is limited between the 1, but secant theta can be more than 1. Then this f is greater than fc. That means what? If theta is greater than 0 degree, then f is greater than fc. F is greater than fc. Then this is your maximum usable frequency. Okay, this is your maximum usable frequency. That means what? You are at some angle. When you are at some angle, okay, instead of fc, again still further you can increase your frequency. That is the maximum usable frequency. That is the maximum usable frequency. Okay, the maximum usable frequency depends on both critical frequency of the layer as well as at what angle you are launching your signal, as well as at what angle you are launching your signal. This is the maximum usable frequency. Okay, for a particular layer. Okay, because if you use some other theta, maybe that signal may not get reflected through D layer. It may go somewhere else. That is the idea. Okay, that is the idea. So this is the definition for maximum usable frequency. Okay, maximum usable frequency. Next one is skip distance. Skip distance, the definition is it is the shortest distance from the transmitter to the receiver. Okay. Shortest distance from transmitter to receiver. Okay, so I will continue next 30 minutes, sir. We will complete this propagation topic. Okay, next 30 minutes. Okay. In the next session, I will continue for 30 minutes so that we can complete this topic fully. Shortest